That's the word on the street out there in the YouTube land. All right, this is the traditional reverse osmosis water filter system put into this refrigerator. Just a little drizzle. It works, but it takes forever to fill up a cup or a water bottle. Welcome back, everybody. You're going to have to excuse my voice for the day.
I'm a little hoarse.
Man, it is hot. Time to kick on my air conditioning for the mini split. Set that at 67 degrees. So I got a pretty cool project for you today. Last year, a study came out that linked fluoride levels to reduced IQ in children. That has caused a huge spike in the demand for installing water filtration that will remove fluoride. I've got a new product today that I'm hoping will solve a lot of problems I've had in the past installing these water filters. I like to hook them up to the refrigerator so that you can use your ice maker line in your refrigerator. Just about everybody's got a refrigerator that puts out water. Most of the houses I work in have $10,000 to $12,000 countertops, and I don't like drilling a hole through them. One little squibble squabble and that bit can skate right across the countertop. Now, if you've got granite, it can be repaired. There's surface repair technicians that can go and mask it and fix it all up. If you've got quartz and it's like white, I've never seen a good repair on white quartz. The problem I'm having with putting these older types of systems into refrigerators is the low flow. They've got a tank, an expansion tank. You actually have to put 10 psi of air pressure in there. Then that fills all the way up, and then that's what pushes the water into the refrigerator or out your spigot. And the low flow at the refrigerator I can't get rid of. Some of you guys had mentioned going inside the refrigerator and removing all sorts of parts, but I got a water filter for you today that might be the solution. Another interesting factoid about these reverse osmosis water filter systems: realtors are now calling systems like this out in their listing like it's some special high-end, sophisticated product. It's become a selling point. When these new yuppies from California come to town and they want to buy a house, if it's got the sophisticated water filter system in it, they can't resist. The weapon of choice today: Benchmade Shootout. It's an OTF. Kind of a neat little gadget. I believe Benchmade will sharpen your knives for life. One of them box inside a box tricks. The company that makes this is called Waterdrop. This is a high capacity, like 800 gallons a day. If you're putting this under your sink in the location it's designed to go, you're going to do very well. If you've watched me do this in the past, there's a mess of hoses that you got to assemble all sorts of stuff. This one here makes it real simple. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use their shutoff. They actually provide a metal shutoff. Goes in just like this, off, on. And another good thing, at least we're hoping, that they didn't send out some metric Chinese tubing. This is 3/8 inch OD tube. Since this is not going underneath a sink, it's going in a basement and it's going up through the floor and into a refrigerator. I will not be able to use this shutoff that would typically go on top of your standard water shutoff. They gave you a tubing slicer. Try out their tube slicer. Wow, that was easy. Nice slice. Now here's the back of the unit. You have your input, your 3/8 in, and then you're going to have your quarter out. It does come with a faucet with a digital readout that plugs into this. We're not going to use this. I'm going to put this in line. This is a UV filter, ultraviolet, to be extra potent in killing everything. Red tube is your waste. I'm going to have to put an extended waste line on this. This is super plug and play if you're putting this underneath a sink. I'm not putting it underneath a sink, so it's going to be extra difficult. I'm not going to put these in until after it's all delivered and I got the shelf built and everything. This is your RO, reverse osmosis membrane. This is significantly better than anything I've installed. It is idiot proof. You know exactly where this goes. This is your carbon water filter. Pre-sediment and carbon block filter goes here, right there. The RO filter is where you get rid of that fluoride. There's one more component to this, and This goes in line on the way to your refrigerator. This is a little mini expansion tank. It's got a Schrader valve on the bottom. Well, we'll have to get into the directions on this a little bit later. You know how you know the difference between a real carpenter and a fake carpenter? A real carpenter never uses a miter saw. They only use their table saw. That's the word on the street out there in the YouTube land. All right, we'll use the angle finder. We'll find that dangle. Hopefully the batteries aren't dead on this thing. Which dangle am I finding here? Something around 40. 38 degrees. So I've got my shelf all mocked up, and I'm just going to mark out where I'm going to drill my pocket holes. It's going to be pocket holed everywhere and glued everywhere, but you want your pocket holes to go towards the inside. You don't want to conceal your screws and drill to the outside. So on this side we'll be facing a wall, and over here they're going to be exposed. Of course, this isn't a utility room, but the screws got to go inwards. You don't want them going outwards towards the very edge of the plywood. So I just assumed this was 1/2 inch plywood. It's not. It's 3/8. So I just made a quick adjustment on this collar drill stop, and we should be fine. So outside of your standard power tools like a drill and an impact and your saws and whatnot, I think the tool that has made me the most money is this pocket hole jig. I highly suggest you get into something that you can build cabinetry with and build shelves with. Very quick, easy, and strong. This is a very old version of a Craig jig that I have screwed to this other kind of contraption that I made, and it has served me well for a very long time. I don't know how long I've had this thing. There are many new updates to this old school one here. I'll put a link down in the description to a few of them that have intrigued me. I've thought about buying them, but this Old Faithful here still works for the limited amount of time I use it. So another tool that's pretty handy for building things like this is the glue bot. You fill it up with your Titebond 2, and it comes out this area here. Goes up this tube and right out. It's always fun to clean too. Time to clean the glue bot. Buy big jugs of this. I've actually had this probably longer than what the shelf life is. I don't see a shelf life on it, but I'll put a link down in the description for both of these. You want to get in on that action. My mini split must be pulling quite a bit of humidity out of the air, as I have it draining into a bucket over there. Hopefully it's going into the bucket, not on the floor. Well, there it is, dripping right into the bucket. That's a pretty sweet little shelving system there. That's where this little mini tank is going to go. I'm not sure what the view is like back there, but I'm going to try to mount my shelf to these boards now. I've already got the water line in. I'll give you a close-up of that in a second. Well, you guys can see this. These don't take a lot of force to get in. They just slide right in. Kit comes with a bag of these safety clips. So that's one of the last things to do before you plug it in and turn the water on, is go put all these safety clips in. I've got the little tank mounted. I've got the UV light filter mounted. Everything's plugged in as far as hoses go. So we should be powering this system up here in just a minute. You got electricity right there. All right, this system is all powered up, juiced up. Going through its startup process. Cranking out the wastewater. I'll show you that in just a second. It's actually very quiet. I thought it was going to be much louder. Isn't that pretty cool? We got our UV light going. Alrighty, we got lots of flow now. Filling this bucket up in no time. Significant difference. I'll do a test with an actual cup here in a little bit, but I'm just flushing it out. It says to run it for 30 minutes straight. Well, here's a final look at the install. There's the water shutoff that I put in. Got your expansion tank, your UV filter, a Waterdrop unit right there, all your filters there. If you want, you can put a remineralization filter right there in line, out of the UV one to the where it connects down there. They're not that big and they're good for many gallons. So what you're seeing there is 001 total dissolved solids output. Okay, I've done some Googlage, and you're supposed to get a half a gallon per minute. And I've done several tests with this, and we're just over a half a gallon per minute. Another test that's on GE's website is if you have less than 8 ounces in 20 seconds, you got low flow. This here is screaming. So this has exceeded the expectations. One of the first things you'll notice when you switch from municipal tap water to reverse osmosis filtered water is there's no longer a chlorine smell or taste. And on the flip side, if you were used to drinking reverse osmosis filtered water and someone hands you a glass of tap water, you only get to about here before the smell hits you of chlorine. Well, that's a pretty sweet unit. It comes in at a hefty price tag though. I'll leave a link in the description for that water filter system. I know a lot of you are concerned about getting your minerals out of your water. This is a mineral water filter. It happens to be made by Waterdrop. I've used Waterdrop in the past. I do recommend you get this if you're into that thing. A lot of people say you can get your minerals from just the food you eat, but you can remineralize your water. You put this in after the filtration, right before the refrigerator. Model WDMNR35, right there. Another question that you might have is, what about the filter inside of the refrigerator? I typically pull those out and put in the block off one. Then there is the problem with, it says not filtering water on it. There's a couple hacks to get that to go away, but it's a project for another day. Just pull out the water filter, put in the block off dummy filter, and you got good fluoride free, lead free, everything free, crystal clear water. What's your take on filtered water? Tell me all about it down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.